interested in ancient history will find something to see, to learn even, possibly, right? So in this place, I mean, this has a very, as I said, a very big history. At the moment, the cloister that you see there, it was built in the 15th century. The place hosted Michelangelo Buonarroti, who used to live here for a while he was preparing the paintings for the Sistine Chapel. So he was preparing all the pigments for the Sistine for the chapel here. Close to us, there is an important church, the Basilica of St. Peter in Chain. And it hosts the famous Moses statue. So you of course are welcome to have a look at that. I mean, it is a masterpiece in the history of art. So it would be very, very, very interesting to be there. So, I mean, this faculty of civil industrial engineering, it belongs to La Sapienza University of Rome. So maybe somebody knows already it is one of the largest universities in Europe. We enroll 120,000 students overall. We teach courses in almost all known disciplines, I would say. So from law, medicine, science, technology, engineering, of course. So, I mean, it is a very broad scoped kind of institution. This faculty of engineering is one of two twins faculties of engineering. This one is devoted to civil and industrial engineering, as I said already. And we have a twin companion, which is dealing with information communication technology. The two faculties are divided different. They are different administration, but they are sort of intertwined in terms of teaching and research. So this place is devoted to teaching. We teach bachelor, master, and PhD programs. We are a vocation in research as well as teaching. And this is what I wanted to say about the place that is hosting us. I'm really glad that the faculty had the opportunity to host this Grand Challenge Scholars program. This is, as I see, the Global Conference 2026. From the program, I understand it's a very important event, keeping together young students, researchers, professors from different disciplines, all of them related to the influence of technology on the economics, but on the society as well, which is probably the most important thing. So it is really important that we join together people from all over the world, in particular in this moment that is particularly complicated, I would say, at the geopolitical moment. I mean, we have a lot of tension going around the world, and I believe that this kind of initiatives, they help us to talk one with the other, understand different possibilities, different problems that any countries may have. So I really appreciate the effort that has been put by the organizer to put together all these nice people here. And with that, I don't want to steal any more time to your work. So I welcome you again, and I'm really pleased to see you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Now, just to start, I would like to give just a few seconds to the co-chairs of this annual meeting. First of all, a great breath of gratitude for being here. Take your breaths. Second, remember that we have people from all over the world. We have some people with a red badge that will have the catering here. The others have the catering on the other side of the faculty. You can go and find, it will be at the chaplaincy that is offering all over the day the coffee break and something good at lunch. Oh, we have also our dear Dorothy, welcome, and Francis Mujuni from Makerere University, Uganda, just arrived. Special guest. Later on, we will be many more. We have 620 registration in presence. So if you do not enter this room, we have other 3 rooms fully connected. We have the other rooms where you can be connected and make the working groups. We will have a number of challenges and working groups to do together. We will have these teams that will work both in the plenary, but also in the cluster and in the other rooms, okay, little by little. Remember that at the chaplaincy, we will have also multi-religious meditation. We will have our Buddhist, that is Emiliano, is there waiting for you later on. For the Jewish, we have the rabbin coming. And as well as we have the people from the Catholic and the Islam. We have some good students that every day pray also in my office and that will share with you. Meditation, silent and few words. Is not praying in other culture, but knowing and sharing, okay? The other point is the program of the workshop you have. So please participate to the workshop. Remember that just after the workshop, we will meet in little groups to go deeper, to find new solutions, and to have a perspective for all the year long. We are here for just starting a work, starting something that we can take up during the next months together. Okay, good. Last thing important, we will have a number of good companies that are here again to share ideas, to share proposals, and to stay in touch with professionals, above all students, okay? Again, maybe to start collaborations together. We are happy to make a scientific and also a professional meeting and here in these days. Okay. Another point, at lunchtime, we will have also a big picture in front of Colosseum in that direction at the skate park. Is the largest skate park of Italy. You can come there. We will have also the skates if you want to ride.
Better not trying. I would suggest.
We have expert helping us, as well as volley and basket. But first of all, big picture just in front of Colosseum, something that will be remembered. Third important thing, we will go deeper in technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship, always everything serving communities. I have to say, with Nora and Maria, we had also other companies, but they were too linked to weapons, and we refused that collaboration. Because here we are not only for peace, but first of all, with a number of different nationalities. We want to stay together. We want to serve communities. We want to think every solution, okay, that is possibly not connected with army and weapons, okay? This is also a greeting for the other companies that are with us and that will share with us the ideas and solutions. Finally, we have a media partner, rinnovabili.com, rinnovabili.it. You will meet them. They are spreading in the US, Africa, everywhere. So they are also ready to receive news from all over the world and to make a network. They are the best online journal for renewables and technologies and environment in Italy, but little by little they are growing up. So you will meet Mauro and Matteo and our Spagnolo groups. Just few words and we start. From our dear Nora, Jamal, and Maria. Maria is the co-chair, so she can start.
All right. I'm just going to join Andrea to say welcome and thank you so much for being here. But I also want to recognize the immense work that people here in Sapienza had put together. So I'm going to ask you to give a huge applause to them because for thank you. I want to also bring up the slide because I just realized that we haven't someone missing on that slide, and I wanted to just give a shout out to where did he go? He was sitting right here. Daniel, just stand up and say he was instrumental for this to happen. So thank you so much. Andrea already gave you a little bit of a brief of what is going to happen today and the next couple of days. All that I want to say is enjoy Rome, take it all in and enjoy your time here. And we're here to help you learn, to help you build more community, and to help you make new friends. And hopefully that will end up in really good collaborations in the future. So I'm so happy to see you here, and I'm going to give it to Nora.
Hello and good morning. And I also want to just extend my appreciation. We've been working on the annual meeting, and it is such a great joy to see a full room and to see so many people interested, making so much hard work, so much sacrifice, I think, that has had to come with getting here. One, working with our institutions to really uplift the mission of the Grand Challenges Scholars Program, and to be able to do this here in Rome is quite amazing. The cultural experience is something, and given the fact that it's one of the competencies, it's certainly something that we do not want to take for granted, and we really want to fully explore all the different competencies and mindsets that the Grand Challenges Scholars Program is about. So this is the wonderful place to do it, and the warmth and the kindness and the joy that the Italy planning team has pulled together here is amazing. So thank you again, and let's do this.
Yeah, I would like to just echo all sentiments, but also specifically shouting out you all as students for doing such great work. I mean, this is the reason why we have this conference. So I guess just give yourselves one more round of applause for all the amazing posters and just all the work you guys do as engineering students in general. It's a tough major, so congratulations.
Just to close this first session, I want also to give the welcome to our the institute that are here are more than 50 universities from all over the world. You can see here that just most of the universities research. We are not counting the research centers and the research institute that are joining us. The other point is from Sapienza students, we focused the international ones. And the internationals as well as the Roman ones, but of course, but it was very important for us to make a big clash of cultures. The other point, tomorrow and after tomorrow, we will have also the social and the intercultural point of view of the technologies. Technologies utilized in the same project in different cultural environment, which are the problems, which are the solutions, okay? We will have some challenges for students, okay? You have to make a little boat, a photovoltaic boat. You will have to make a solar plant In the afternoon, at 5 o'clock, we will make something that really few of us already done. Crossing the street in front of you. We know very well the faculty, but just a few of us knows what is the other building there. That is a home of care for ancient people, taken by little sisters, and they are waiting for us at 5 o'clock to share a little performance, Cinderella, of 10-15 minutes. And then we will have a great picture from the rooftop of the monastery, because it's something incredible. We have all Rome there, and engineering from another perspective. This is engineering for another perspective is what I would like to underline. So this is for today. Now we can close. We have something more.
Just one more thing. Oh,
No, just yes. Before closing, just to stay perfect on time at 10 when we have. It's now 10. No. We have a little time. Okay, very good. We will have the meditation with our Buddhist group there. And we will have at the same time the coffee break, and the odd numbers of the posters will start presenting their poster in the scientific poster in the cluster. Okay, just to have a plan of the faculty. This is the main building. Here we will perform most of all the plenaries here, okay? In the cluster, we will have the coffee break and the posters. In one corner, you will find a stairs and a special room, so-called frescoes room, because it's really nice. And frescoes room is for meeting companies and for the so-called innovation lab observatory that is taken by Sapienza Sapienza Innovation. It will be very, very interesting. There we will launch an observatory that we want on technologies, innovation, and social impact that will go on for years. Today, we will start it. It's a huge number of companies just represented by 4 or 5 and professors. Also, students are welcome to discuss about this observatory, what to put inside, what we would like to take under control, at least observe. The last point is for tomorrow, we have the same structure. We will have our Jason here that will make a really special performance. Today, we will have a special performance from Max Lega that is arriving, and a very special group here. We will see drones going here around. We will see, but strictly linked to engineering in emergencies. Engineering in emergencies worldwide. So this will be very special. The other point, tomorrow, Jason Blackstock, that is here with us, and Jessica Santos. I don't know if she's already here. These are special performances. Don't lose them. And on Sunday, Pope Leo is waiting for us. We'll read this from his speech of at noon. So if you want to come, it will be another special moment. And on Monday, we will go to Rieti. Rieti is another pole of Sapienza University. We have there a department of our engineering faculty. And we have a number of energy communities there. So please, let's organize to stay there at 9. It means that at 7 we have the appointment here on Monday morning. So Sunday night, stay quiet, please, Maria.
I just wanted to take a little bit of time to recognize the work of other people that made this possible. So I just wanted to mention part of the planning committee. If you're here, just raise your hand. I'm going to ask you to stand up, but I wanted to say thank you so much. Okay, they can stand. So go ahead and stand. She asked you to stand up. So if you're part of the planning committee, thank you so much for all your work. We met for months to get this event together. So thank you again for all the work. And this wouldn't be possible without you. So that's what I wanted to say. Just take the time to say thank you.
Okay. So we can go straight with the introduction. I think Daniele wants to say something, for sure.
Now we have the program afterward because it was Yannis' moment now to present. Since we are late, just like welcome everyone. We will have like some interactive moment afterward. I wanted to do a test now with some question of the GSP, but we don't have time. I don't want us to be like the Italians. They were always late. So I want to be on point. I'll cut myself so now. And yeah, I think we can have Yannis and then I'll do the testing after in the first session.
Okay, so Yannis, please come. And one moment. We learned around the world just a way to say, yes, you make something like that. Okay, 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 very good. So do you want to start? Make your move. Yes.
You have a clicker? Someone going to introduce him? No. I don't have it in front of me.
Here's the presentation. Just the hours. The hours.
All right. I have the pleasure to introduce to you the Dean Yanis Geortzos. He was one of the co-founders of the program and one person that has all the knowledge that has to do with this program. So I'm very, very happy that we can count. And actually, he's one of the reasons why these programs still occur. So I'm very, very happy that to have him here today in Italy and give you a little bit of an introduction to the program. So thank you so much, Dean Yanis.
Thank you, Marianne. Thank you all for being here. Wonderful pleasure to see so many of you here in a different part of the world. When we started the program in 2009, and so it is so wonderful to see how it has grown and also it has resonated with so many universities across the world. I think this is really remarkable and shows the value that this program can offer. Today, I wanted to go through a little bit of going back a little bit how the program started, and then I want also to talk about how AI is going to be incorporated, or how is AI affecting what we do in engineering, obviously. And so I'll share some thoughts about that. Yeah, maybe I should sit down. Yeah. So it's great to be here in Rome. As people say, all roads lead to Rome. So do you know? So finally, all roads lead to Rome. So we're here. So I just wanted to, as I go through the program, I do want to mention Dr. Rama, who is here today, representing Plaxa. However, He was instrumental when the program was with the National Academy of Engineering for a long time. And so I think a lot of this continuity has to do with the fact that Rama played a great leading role for that. So Rama, I think you need to be acknowledged for that. So, the screen, okay, over here, sure. Okay. I will just, those of you who have followed what we were doing in the past, we're talking about something we'll call it hug the exponential. Now the rhetoric is changing and it's becoming embrace the singularity. And I will tell you how this is going to play. Maybe you will agree with me, maybe not, but we will see how this is going to go. Before I go, I just wanted to make sure that give you a little bit of a historical view of how this whole thing started. And it started first at Durham, North Carolina, at the first summit on March 2009, when the Chuck Vest, then National Academy of Engineering president, unfortunately we lost him in 2013, gave a wonderful talk about the program. And so if you can show, there is a link for the that you can make it. So there's a video there. If you can put it. You have to go into your computer. There's a link, a video link there. Did you make it? I don't see it. Well. Oh, okay, well, you don't have it. Unfortunately, we don't have the link. So that's okay. I wish it was available because Chuck is talking about, the program and how it started, but it's unfortunate we don't have it. Nonetheless, there was this meeting in 2009, and this whole process started with the National Academy of Engineering of the United States. And then in 2009, in April, a month later, we launched the program for the first time at the Engineering Deans Institute, which is the annual meeting of the Engineering Deans of the United States in Boston, Massachusetts. There were 3 people that started the program. All of them had a USC origin. So let me tell you what they were. Tom Katsouleas was the Dean of Engineering at Duke University. He used to be at USC as a professor of electrical engineering. Rick Miller is was the president of Walling College, used to be at USC as professor of civil engineering. And myself, on the other side, at that time, I was the dean of engineering as well. And so we decided to start a program that addresses the grand challenges of engineering. I'll tell you a little bit about how the grand challenges of engineering came to be. And the National Academy of Engineering in 2008 decided to identify what are the big grand challenges of the world today. And then we decided to create a program that will train the students, if you wish, that will address the grand challenges. So that was basically what we came about. And we say, well, these grand challenges have to be a sort of a research project. And in the disciplinary curriculum, we call Engineering Plus, some entrepreneurship experience. These are the competencies that you see that exist today. I have taken these competencies and I added a number of other flavors, as you will see in a moment. And I think we have to see how we expand this as we move forward. These are all consistent with what happened back in 2005, which was something called the Engineer of 2020, and also the World Engineering Forum report on the skills for the 21st century. Remember, this was in 2004. Most of you were not born at that time. And so that tells you how the program started before you were born and where we are today. So relevant questions today regarding the Grand Challenge Scholars Program, and I'm talking about today in today's time, and some of the questions are the following. What will or should engineering be like in the years to come? will be a reflection of the engineering of today, or will it be fundamentally different? More importantly, can the engineering profession play a role to shape its own future? Or can a future be created where engineering has a broadly recognized image that celebrates the exciting roles engineers play? And how can engineers best be educated to be leaders for all that? These questions that you see here are not questions that came up today. These are questions that were asked in 2005. So the same questions that we are asking today, with AI coming to be an important part of our world, were asked then 20 years ago. It's kind of interesting to see how the world changes, but the questions remain the same. And this led to the creation of something called the Engineer of 2020. Again, 2020 is 6 years ago, and clearly the question is the Engineer of 2020, as described there, did they have as engineers were graduating, do they still have the competencies or the qualities that the report of the Engineer of 2020 specified? It's kind of interesting to see, and I will describe them to you in a moment. But what I'm trying to show here, there is a continuity that started our profession. We started thinking about what is an engineer, what do we do, how are we going to make sure what it is actually that we're contributing. And the Grand Challenges Scholars Program was trying to address this in some way, because it was going to address the big challenges of the world as they were outlined back then, obviously in the Grand Challenges of Engineering. And that was in 2004. So this report says the successful attributes of the Engineer of 2020. So there was another report that came out in 2005. That was the time when I was starting as Dean of Engineering, so long time ago. It's a book that I read immediately because I said, well, if I'm a dean, I might as well understand what exactly the attributes should be. And so this report came out and talking about analytical skills, practical ingenuity, creativity, communication, business and management skills, high ethical standards, professionalism, leadership, including bridging public policy and technology, dynamism, lifelong learners. A lot of attributes that are, in essence, attributes for professional success. What has been missing from this, and when I look at it back, is purpose. And engineering is all about purpose, and that's what I'm trying to tell you today. And the Grand Challenges Scholars Program is nothing else except for purpose. To me, engineering is all about purpose and how you create a better world. What you see in these attributes are a little bit of a sort of a professional attributes that we should all have, obviously. However, what you see here is missing a bit of the culture that we discussed earlier today, kind of the soul of the engineering profession that we have to have. And I think the Grand Challenges Scholars Program does that in its own way. And I will tell you how I think this is evolving in a moment. So the question then is, would this still be the key attributes in the age of AI? We are entering a new age, and that is the age of artificial intelligence that is going to permeate a lot of the things that we do. And we are living, again, the most exciting era for science and engineering in human history. If I was able to show you what the video that unfortunately didn't play, hopefully we'll find it and play it. Chuck Vest, who was a visionary president of the National Academy, a wonderful person, and I got to know him quite well, he said that back in 2008, we live in the most exciting era for science and engineering in human history. I believe we're doing the same again. It is the most exciting era for science and engineering in human history, but in a very different way, with the fact that now we have AI that actually changes pretty much dramatically many things as well. And so what I would like to do is, what should be the engineer of the age of intelligence, let's put it this way. This is what Tom Friedman in the New York Times has said, we're entering the age of intelligence. I'm not sure that I completely agree with that. I think we have been intelligent for a long time, but nonetheless, this is sort of the artificial intelligence business. And how should be the engineer of today's be educated? Now, in 2018, I decided to rephrase a little bit the Grand Challenges Scholars Program. So I wanted this to be a little bit more, I don't know, expressed through my own words. So I created this thing here. And so for the 5 mindsets of the change to thrive in today's world, my first thing is, this sort of trying to tell people to hug the exponential. Now, what does hugging the exponential mean? The world is changing at an exponential pace, and we as engineers have to make sure we stay with it because the world is changing fast. I decided to use the term hug the exponential and to have, therefore, superb skills and knowledge to lead the exponentially changing technology. Second, the engineering plus philosophy of changing the conversation about engineering, where engineering plus X, where X is anything, particularly human-centric. And that's actually an important part of our Grand Challenges Scholars Program. Also, who we are, what we do, and what we look like. This is an opportunity to change the conversation about engineering, and I think that this is actually happening all over the world. Innovation in the broader sense, but then going to the cultural mind, and also what I call heroic engineering, the awareness of the impact of engineering to society. I have borrowed this from a talk that Megan Smith, who used to be the CTO, the first CTO of the U.S. government, had a conversation, has given an address at USC and talked about heroic engineering, meaning that trying to do things that are not, that help society in many different ways, and the importance of technology ethics, which started becoming more and more important as technology becomes more and more important as well. So so when I look at this, the first 2 to 3 aspects of that are competence, but then the other 3 have to do with character and values. So now we see how engineering has to have not only competence, but also character. And I think this together forms trust. So trust means competence and character. And I think the Grand Challenges Scholars Program addresses specifically these 2 combinations of competence and character. Maybe you can call them values or however you want to do this. And that hugs the exponential is something that I have been advocating for some time. Now, let's talk a little bit about the age of AI. And since we're talking about the age of AI, we have to answer the question, what remains constant? What should be consistent over the years? I think we have to start with the statement that engineering is fundamentally about purpose. We pursue it constantly and relentlessly for the benefit of humanity. That's what engineers do. And so the question is, what are parts of this pursuit we follow?
在这儿
And
好多人。
uh,
问题这是哪栋楼？
is that a comment?
是的。
Thank you. All right. So there are 4 buckets that no matter what we do, they can fall into these 4 buckets. By the way, this is not true for engineers only. It is true for any human discipline or endeavor. A big bucket is what I call sustainable prosperity. I don't use the word sustainability because in the United States, sustainability has taken a strange view. Sustainable prosperity is probably the right way to look at it because sustainability sometimes is associated with scarcity, with the fact that the world is not going to be the same. We will have difficulty living in a world. And I think this is completely opposite to what we want. We want to make sure whatever prosperity we have continues in the future and it is sustainable for all the world. And so to me, that's actually the right word for sustainability. Now, you can ask the question, how did you come up with this? So many of you know, if you have not seen from my accent, that I'm from Greece originally. The word of sustainability in Greece is aiphoria, which means forever green. It does not mean simply viability. It means prosperity. And that's why I think is the right word to use. So for example, when I go to Greece and visit colleagues and everyone, the term sustainability in Greece is actually a very welcome word because people are associating it with sustainable prosperity. I think we have to change that conversation and say, how do we create sustainable prosperity for everyone? And sustainable mean for many, many, many years to come actually for the future generations as well. So that's the first thing. But sustainability or sustainable prosperity have all kinds of elements, including energy, and many other things as well, water, and so on and so forth. Another big bucket is health. And a lot of the things that we do in engineering relates to health. A third big bucket is security. Security could be, for example, infrastructure, could be supply chains, could be shelter, could be cybersecurity, all the things that are associated with living a secure life. And the fourth one has to do with enriching life. And enriching life is something all of us will want to do, and in any particular discipline as well, and that has an engineering impact on society. These are interdisciplinary, they're impactful, they're relevant, and they are enhanced and increasingly enabled by advances in computing. Because computing can help, and AI, for example, comes in here to actually help us advance any of these four things. Those of you who are familiar with that are aware of what we call, I call Maslow hierarchy for humanity. And this is what underlines the 14 grand challenges of engineering. Now, Maslow hierarchy is usually used for an individual. Those of you who are, dubbed in psychology, you know there is something called the Maslow hierarchy for an individual. I think this is the Maslow hierarchy for humanity, and I think this is what we do, whether we are in engineering, whether we are doctors, whether we are pursuing anything else. All disciplines address one or of these four other buckets. And if there is any bucket that I have missed, please let me know, because I don't think that I have. And so these four things are underlying all the grand challenges that we have. So I am claiming that this will remain the same for many, many generations to come. As humans, we want to make sure we follow these buckets. And when I look at what we do in an engineering school, whatever we do falls in these categories as well. Whether you graduate as a chemical engineer, mechanical, electrical, or anything, you are addressing one of these four buckets. And I make the claim that all disciplines essentially fall in this category. You're in political science, you are in policy, essentially you're addressing many of these buckets as well. So I'm not saying that all disciplines are technology disciplines, but actually they're getting there. That's one thing I wanted to say. And this demands deep technical domain knowledge of what we do. So as we move through the AI era, we want to make sure all of us have a very deep domain knowledge of what we do. If I'm a chemical engineer, I must understand what chemical engineering is about. The last thing I want to do is outsource this to an AI, because then it means that I will be sort of a hostage of what AI is going to give me. Whether this is right or not, it's not clear. So we have to have a deep domain knowledge as we move forward in the era of AI. And that's actually, to me, I think it is a necessary attribute of education in the era of AI. Now, what accelerates is advanced computing. Could be AI. Around the corner is quantum computing. These are coming up very fast. And this accelerates in a significant way. I have a slide there that shows on the left side is data points, and they are logarithmic scale. And on the right side is time. You can see this curve here that looks like a hyperbole. This is not an exponential. This is faster than an exponential. In fact, it could be a singularity. And that's why I'm calling this the age of AI as a singularity. I have a little theory that it is sort of a, I'm not an innovation expert, but I am a chemical engineer. So I look at things as chemical reactions. So if you look at the bottom there, let's assume that innovation follows a first order chemical reaction. I apologize to the rest of you who are not familiar with chemical reactions, but if you do that, then the rate of change of innovation is proportional to the rate of innovation. The ADT is lambda A, okay, we have it over there. Well, when you integrate that, what you get an exponential. So for you, I just described for you Moore's law. Moore's law is an exponential, and it means that, you know, the innovation is autocatalytic. The more of this, the faster it gets. However, let's assume that the chemical reaction is second order, so you go downstairs. It takes 2 A's to get a new A. In this case, the ADT is proportional to A squared. Lo and behold, if you integrate that, you get a singularity. In other words, the rate of change is not only fast, it's much faster than exponential. In fact, it goes to infinity at any specific time. Are we living in this era? People can say, perhaps we are. Ray Kurzweil, back in 2009, wrote a paper, a book called The Singularity is Near. I don't know if anybody of you has read it, but actually he's claiming not far into the future, we're going to be in a situation in which things are going to be kind of singular in some sense. I think we are very close to that today. And so maybe we live in an era of singularity, and the question is what we're going to do about it. And I think when we do about the Grand Challenger Scholars Program, it's kind of the same thing as well. So if I'm an engineering student, like many of you are, I will demand a complete and very strong technical knowledge of AI. We need to understand neural networks. We need to understand machine learning. We need to demystify AI so that we understand exactly what AI does. The moment we miss this, then we are going to be completely lost into something magical, and there is nothing magical about it. Actually, there is a lot of mathematicians trying to understand the structure that leads to all this, you know, LLMs and how they come up with solutions like that. So to me, that's the second important part of all engineering education. Deep domain knowledge, understanding the fundamentals of AI, and if we as engineers are uniquely capable of doing that, and we can let others, you know, to explain to others how it works. So to me, that's the other significant thing that we have to have, in addition to deep domain knowledge, to also have a technical AI knowledge in machine learning, reinforcement learning, and other things as well. So this then comes to me to the following equation, which is an equation that I probably have shown to some of you before. It's a schematic equation, and so please stay with me. I put together a triangle, I add to this a hyperbola, and then I get a double helix. So that's my equation, which is a symbolic equation for our times, because we're going to have something which stays constant, which is the triangle. People call it a pyramid, by the way. It's not a pyramid, you know, it's a triangle. Then you add this hyperbola, which is the AI, and then you get a double helix. This is the double helix of technology and humanity. We live today in this world where these strands of technology and humanity are intertwined as never before. And this is actually where ethical values become so important. How do we make sure we take technology and human values together and then deal and live in this type of intertwining? So to me, that's actually the equation of our times. And so Actually, I was talking to my colleagues at UAC. Maybe we'll make this the new logo for the Grand Challenges Scholars Program. And then you go to your friends and say, this is the equation. Come on, can you not read it? And that's how it works. And so essentially bringing the human in the loop, which is the most important part that we have to have today. So let me close by saying a few words about AI. We can think of AI as a tool, as a catalyst, and as a technology. So this is the three different ways by which I look at AI. Again, with all due respect to the rest of you who are not chemical engineers, catalyst is an important part in everything. Okay, that's trying to make you know. AI as a tool. Well, you use ChatGPT and you do this to Google things, right? So essentially AI you can use as a tool. You ask a question, you go to your computer, the computer thinks a little about that and then comes up with an answer. It's essentially a tool. AI as a catalyst, a very important part, accelerates research. So all of us that deal with solving different problems, including serving communities, can accelerate what we do because AI can help us move faster with respect to science and discovery, as well as learning. But it's important to understand that, so this is a catalyzing assistant. With respect to learning, it is an important question that we have to ask, how do you use AI for learning, and to make sure that we continue having a critical thinking and not simply taking a solution that AI is giving us, that's the answer, without us understanding how we came out to be. And I will say a few words about that. So accelerate research. Can it create true innovation? That's an interesting question. Importantly, there are large resources needed, and that has implications for academic research and also the partnership with corporations. All of you know that tremendous amount of energy that is needed in order for AI to help, and that creates a significant issues with respect to that. I have a slide on how AI can help us as a catalyzing teaching assistant, if you wish. Because my time is limited, I'll just go fast. I'll just skip this particular slide, except to show you that when we learn, we have to put energy. If you do not put this energy in, you are not going to be able to get your, whatever's going on in your brain, to be able to change, to embed this knowledge in your brain. When you essentially, again, with apologies to people who don't do chemical reactions, you go from one state of energy to another. In order to go from there to there, you have to put some energy in there. If you don't use AI, if you use AI, you're not going to go from here to there. You're going to go from here to here, and you're going to learn nothing. And so that's a very important part to keep in mind, that this has to continue being the case. AI helps lower the activation energy, which is this distance. However, it does not change the way by which, it should not change the way by which we learn, and we have critical thinking about learning as well. Learning in AI, with AI, is actually a more complex topic, so I will just move out of that. Finally, let me talk a little bit about AI as a technology. And in order to do this, let's first of all define technology. So here's the definition. Forget AI. This is my definition of technology. I use it based on some work from Brian Arthur, economist Brian Arthur. I paraphrased it and extended it. So here's my definition of technology: leveraging phenomena for useful purposes. I don't say anything about mathematics. I don't say anything about else. We leverage phenomena for useful purposes. It's an important definition. Remember that. Useful purposes has a moral issue to it. What's useful to someone is not useful to another. So it's fundamental. Technology, there is always an ethical issue about technology. It's fundamental to it because we leverage something for useful purposes. And so that's why I think we have to think about purpose and many other things as well. And so what are these various phenomena? We can be physical, chemical, biological, and increasingly social, and behavioral. And on the other side, you have the purposes, ethical and moral, unintended consequences, complexity, policy issues. These come up, excuse me, as a result of this definition here. And so this phenomena can be anything, and also useful purposes include the discovery of new phenomena, many other things. You can expand this as much as possible. So this is technology. Let's ask the question, what is AI as a technology? So with AI as a technology, oh, by the way, here's your double helix again, but in a different way. One is the phenomena, and the other is the unintended consequences. So keep that in mind. We have this double helix here. Let's now go to AI as a technology. AI as a technology is leveraging data for useful purposes, not phenomena. AI doesn't care about phenomena, but it cares about data. That makes this very different because it tells you that it can be a universal tool that takes about physics, chemistry, biology, social phenomena, everything, because it's simply data. Now, the question is sometimes, so I remove the phenomena there and I put data. And that's actually an important part. So I didn't erase it here. However, there are also you can actually accelerate the use of AI by physics-informed machine learning or chemistry-informed machine learning. In other words, you can take advantage of the laws that exist for that. Fundamentally, however, one can use only data in order to come up with predictions about this, whether it is social phenomena or their physical phenomena or their chemical phenomena. That provides a convergence to many, many, many disciplines without actually the need to understand the corresponding disciplines, which is something that actually can have an impact in the sense that sometimes we may get answers that may not make sense, and that's why we have to be actually an expert in these areas as well. But to me, this actually provides essentially a different way of viewing AI because, and let me give you an example. The Nobel Prize in Chemistry a year ago was awarded to Denis Hassabis. Denis Hassabis was not a chemist or a chemical engineer. He was working for DeepMind at Google. He discovered the rules for AlphaGo, which was a game that's played in China. Lo and behold, this can be used to understand protein folding. It had nothing to do with anything. All of a sudden, protein folding is a big problem that has been solved in many different ways, in a way that had nothing to do with the specific expertise. Of course, he partnered with a chemist and a biologist in order to understand that. So, relevant questions and possible answers to our times of AI. Let me come over here closer. What will or should engineering be like in the years to come? An answer, we should aspire to augmented intelligence to solve the grand challenges and further enrich life. That's something that is relevant to what we do in the Grand Challenges Scholars Program. Will this be a reflection of today or will it be fundamentally different? Will reflect this new phase transition we're undergoing. We are going through a new phase transition, which we enter the age of AI, however you want to define it. We have to accept it and take advantage of it and work on it. Because if we say we cannot do that, then we don't want to be Luddites and stay away from that. I think AI is an important part we have to actually embrace and be able to do that. More importantly, these are the questions that were asked at the Engineer of 2020. The answer is yes, and here's how. Deep domain knowledge, immersion in AI technologies, building the character to uphold the human values in the double helix that I mentioned before. And this will be the engineer of the age of intelligence. In 2004, we asked engineers to become more skillful in their role in society, soft skills, business skills, other things as well. In the age of intelligence, we'll be asked to become the bearers of deep technologies and truth, and to import the trust needed to build a better world. So to me, that's the most important thing that we have to think about. There's a trustworthiness that has to come up, and this will come up from people like us because we understand in a way the fundamentals of all these things, and we can simply not outsource this to AI or simply a machine. We have to make sure that we express a judgment that's actually accurate and reflects actually the things that we know. So I rephrase my GCSP today to apply in the age of AI. Remember before we had the hug, the exponential, and everything else? So here's how I rephrase it today. The first two remains competence, and competence are the two things that I mentioned, the Maslow hierarchy for humanity and the AI stuff. We need to understand both in a significant way of depth and understanding. And the cultural mind, the heroic engineering becomes the trustworthiness. That's your double helix that you have to keep in mind as well. And I remove the hug, the exponential, because the exponential is over. So here we have to embrace the singularity. So this is my new motto. We have to embrace that singularity. We cannot say that this belongs to some sort of mad computer scientist out there. I think we have to embrace the fact that AI is something that will drive a lot of things in the future. So, and by the way, this transcends disciplines, and it is applicable to all the things that we do. I mentioned before that engineers, all disciplines essentially have this Maslow hierarchy purpose, and I think engineers can actually do a better job than many in this area. I hope there are not people here outside of engineering that will oppose that view. Hopefully not. But I think I find this to be the reason we are able to move forward and have this wonderful Grand Challenges Scholars Program. So concluding remarks, we have to be the quintessential human in the loop in the area of AI, that we have three attributes: deep domain knowledge, thorough knowledge of AI technologies, and outstanding character for values. I think we live in Italy here today, in Rome, in societies that through the centuries I have said how important it is. They exalt the role of the humans in the way we do these things, and this will have to continue. And look, I mean, being steep into human values is a very important part. This incorporates, calls to incorporate AI in research that render it helpful, honest, and harmless, and explainable. And we have to continue adding attributes of purpose and character. I think this is a characteristic of the Grand Challenges Scholars Program. It's fundamental that we have purpose and character, even though this is moving now. So this is my new sort of translation of that. In addition to technical competence, therefore leading to trustworthiness, the world needs trust, and this trust will come from people like us that can provide this thing that is sorely missing in the world today, in which trustworthiness is actually something that is definitely an important thing that is needed in the world today. So I will close with the following very quick thing. When I started as an assistant professor yesterday, 2 years ago, my department chair said, engineering is about three things: energy, materials, and information. That was a long time ago. I said, I'm in energy. My thesis was on energy. I said, fantastic, so I am in the area. When you look at AI today, it incorporates all these three in an extraordinary way. AI requires huge amounts of energy. It's voracious appetite, which then has environmental issues galore. It requires materials. Anybody talk about NVIDIA chips? And you see the stock price where they are? And the other thing is information is data. AI without data doesn't work, because essentially you train data to predict the future. And we're talking about trillions of data in many ways. So incredibly, all of a sudden, AI is the quintessential part of engineering, if you think about it. And then, however, the only thing that was not given to me by my chair at the time was the issue of trustworthiness, because we have to have trustworthiness on that. So I think we have to add trust to energy, materials, and information. And that brings the human component, which I think is very widely present in our Grand Challenges Scholars Program. So I think I will stop there and say, I want to make sure we keep the anthropo prefix in humanity. You know, you have anthropic, you have all these other things. So I think the anthropo, which, by the way, it's a Greek word, yes, which means human. And so this is actually, we have to keep that into humanity rather than outsource it to a particular technology that's out there. So that is my presentation. These are all GCSP attributes. I think GCSP can flourish in the future with AI. And I think, as I said, we have to embrace the singularity, but actually make it better. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dean Geortzos. You gave us a lot to think about and reflect for the future of our programs. I think we are now up for a break. Daniel, you wanna?
Yeah, we are a little bit late. Yeah, let's take some time. So you have the poster outside. The breaks are made for the posters to present and for people going to see the posters. And we have around 15 minutes. We can take some minutes more.
And we meet here again, right?
Yeah, we will be here again. We will do some polling when we come back to test, to do some testing and some starting questions. So you participate in our.
So please go to the catering. Remember that the black badge, you have the catering down. You can go across the faculty, arrive to the chaplaincy. There you will find also a spiritual food of the Buddhist meditation within the coffee break. And please enjoy the faculty, enjoy the posters just now. Bye-bye.
Yeah, let's take some minutes more. From program is 10:30. You can come back till 10:40. Let's not to be late. Let's say 35. Come on. I'll start the polling at 35 and who's not there is not participating.
conference.